Well, it's a little breezy tonight, so bear with me. You're going to hear that a few times, the wind on the video camera. As you can see, did you hear that? As you can see, there's no walls yet, but, that was funny. They've been working on this electrical panel a little bit, and I see that they've got the alarm set on there. Do you see that? Right there. Well, that's their little camera, and they've hooked that up to this. This must be a little pad, you know, for something. I think it's for motion, because as I walked past it, the alarm went off and went meow, meow, meow. That's probably just to scare people off, but hey, it is what it is. And they've started, even though they haven't started framing the walls yet, they've started the electrical over here, and here's their big old excavator here. And I wanted to show you what they've been doing so far. And usually the pipe that's on the electrical panel, they would extend it down into the footing before they pour the concrete, and then they would have a long sweep 90 connected to it, but I'm not seeing it. Are you? I'm not seeing anything down there. And they're going to have to get their shovel out. They're going to have to get their shovel out and probe around in there. Maybe it's just a 90-degree elbow, or it could be just coming straight down that they have to hook on there and dig underneath the footing and stuff to get to the pipe. But they've got this dug really deep, and it goes over to the electrical. I'm going to walk over there here in a minute, but they're going to have to run this eventually. And before they did this, of course, they had to contact somebody and have them locate any existing lines that were in here, sewer lines, water lines, drain lines, electrical lines, anything like that that was possibly located on the property before they dug. You always have to do that before you start digging. And let's just see. I'm going to have to be kind of careful here. Do you hear that? That alarm thing went off again. Anyways, there's a certain depth you've got to have this, and they've dug this line all the way over there. I'm going to walk over this way. That's where the main electrical connection is down there. Let's just walk on down there and take a quick look at that. That thing keeps going off, and hopefully I don't get in trouble, but the building contractor said I could make videos over here. And see, here's their electrical pipes for that. My guess is this is the electrical pipes for that. This is probably for something else. This is the sewer, PVC sewer. Okay, when they connect their sewer line, they've actually got some big boxes here, and I don't know if they have to put a new box in here or not. And we're just gonna kind of come up here and take a quick look, see, and see what's going on over here. Their existing electrical box is right there, and of course you never want to start messing around with that. There's I can see where the main connection lines are right there, and if you come down here, there it is right there that they're going to connect into. Okay, and that line is the same size as the other. It's probably 3 inches, my guess. And there's probably a long sweep 90 coming out of there underneath that dirt, and my guess is they're going to connect on there. Now they're going to have to put a long sweep 90 on that, come across here, go all the way on down there, make the connections and all that kind of stuff. And do you know, let's see, I think, I'm not quite sure, but when I built a house, this was years ago, 2002 or so, I had my electrician that I work with, he ran all the electrical for me in the house, and ran all the electrical for the lights, plugs, switches, all the main connections for the electrical panel. He installed the electrical panel, all the breakers, everything. And even coming out of where the electrical panel is, we were able to run, I had my electrician run this, and I'm telling you this for a reason here. He ran it all the way to the main connection box. Of course, he never opened that, and I think what we ended up doing is we ran it fairly close to their connection, and then in this long pipe. See, you wouldn't. I don't think you would make that last connection. Now, I'm not quite 100% sure. I remember that the guy who was helping me build the house, he was kind of like acting as the contractor to coordinate between his subcontractors. But I did a lot of the work myself. I did the quite a few different things. But he was telling me, he says, "Hey, I was responsible for getting the pull tape." And I'm like, "Well, don't you just put a rope in the pipe?" And no, he said it was a special tape, he called it, and it was about yay wide. It was probably an inch wide, and it was made out of nylon rope, but it was flat, and it was about this wide. And he says, "Nope, you've got to use that, or else the inspector, wherever our county was located, the inspector will knock us down if you put a pull string in there, if you put a wire, if you put any kind of rope. It had to be this tape." And as I remember, we had to have the tape at the job site, and I'm thinking my electrician had to put a steel tape all the way through it, and then take the flat rope from this point and pull it all the way back over up in through the electrical panel, and then we left plenty of flat rope at this connection so that the main electrical people from the county, from the city, from the electrical department, whatever, they were the ones who then took it from there and ran it up through that the rest of the way, and then made the final connection. Maybe we had to give them the last 90 or the last elbow or something like that. I think that's how it happened. I mean, the only other way, if they wouldn't allow that, would be you'd have to put the 90 long sweep elbow on there first, and then have the tape here, and then when the electrician from the county, the city, wherever, when you call it in, they would coordinate, and then maybe they were the ones who pulled the pulse flat tape through there. Whichever. What I'm saying is, if you're the electrician, or if you're the homeowner and you're acting as the owner builder, and you want your electrician to do it, and if he's not aware of exactly what's going on, you talk to the building inspector. Once you get the permit and stuff, or when you're getting the permit, you can talk to the electrical inspector who signed off the plans, who did your plan check, and you talk to him, what is the procedure for my electrician, and he'll tell you exactly what kind of pull tape and all that kind of stuff, because let me tell you, your main electrician is not to get in there, okay? They'll be the ones to shut off all that kind of stuff, but of course you've got to run your pipe all the way through there and all that. Okay, so they'll be ended up doing that, and let me show you the long sweep 90 that I'm talking to you about. Okay, for the electrical is a little bit different. I'm just going to walk over here. I don't want to twist my ankle or anything like that. See this thing here? This is their long sweep 90. Look how long. Look at that. And see, that is not going to work over there, is it? It's not long enough, and so or it's too big of a curve, and it's not going to fit in there based on how the pipe comes out. And so what the electrician's probably going to have to do is he's going to have to heat this up, and then he's going to have to bend it and fashion it. Once it's hot, you can bend that and contour it exactly how you want it over there. Okay, so that's what they'll end up doing. That's what that stuff is. And this other, I'm not sure what this Schedule 40 rigid is for. See, it says 1 inch. I know that's not, that's probably for electrical or something, because it's not going to be for the main water line. I know that, because the main water line that comes into the house is 1.25 inches. Remember, we saw that? And so I know that's what's going in over there for the water, but that's kind of the quick and dirty on your electrical. And of course there's you know, even if you didn't know how deep to do it, you would just dig it down to where the electrical outlet is over there, and then you would know what the depth is. And I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to tell you it's 30 inches and find out it's supposed to be 32 inches deep or something like that. Oh, and I also remember that once we dug it, there was another thing we had to do, and I think we ended up having to get sand, and we had to put sand in the base, at least 3 or 4 inches thick of sand, so that the electrical pipe was protected from the footing, or from the trench at the bottom. I guess in case anybody was digging later on down the road, if they were to hit a pipe, it would give it enough flex, maybe, because you've got 4 inches of sand underneath it, and then I think you have to cover it with sand before you backfill the dirt. Now, don't quote me on that. Like I say, talk to your electrical department, or when the electrical inspector's out here, you can ask him. If you haven't asked him when you got your permit, you can always call the permit office, or you can go in and talk to the permit office and ask them what's the requirements. Or on your permit card, there's probably a phone number on there that you can call and maybe talk to the electrical inspector, or whoever answers the phone, they'll tell you how to get a hold of the electrical inspection department, talk to an electrical inspector, or come down and talk to somebody, or they put somebody on the phone or something like that. Okay, because we know the electrical inspector has not come out here and done anything yet, right? The only person who's come out here is the structural inspector first for the flooring. The plumbing inspector is a separate inspector who looks at the mechanical and the plumbing, and we know he's already come. Okay, but there's no electrical underneath the house yet, right? There's none of that around the house yet. And so we know the electrical inspector has not come yet. Okay? And so I'm just telling you different things you can do. Even if your electrical subcontractor is not fully versed on how to hook up the main electrical panel. And that thing went off a couple times, and I think it's just a deterrent. I don't think I'm not, I don't know if that's hooked up to anything or not. It could be, or it could be just something fake to scare people off or whatever. Okay, it's kind of a good idea though, that they have that there. And anyways, that's what they've done, and I am ready to go home. Okay, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos, and one of these times when I come out here, they should be framing. I'm not quite sure why the framers haven't gotten here yet. Obviously they're out at another job, and I showed you this wood before. They've got different things here, don't they? Here they've got 4x6s. Those are 6x6 posts, and then actually, you look how big this is here. That's probably a 6x10. I mean, they got all kinds of different sizes, and I even saw some header material that sometimes they make out of mashed up plywood. 10, 12 layers of plywood, and they sometimes use that as beams. Because I just walked through a house in Salt Lake City, close to Salt Lake City, Park City, and walked around some houses, and they had some beams inside the house. See, this beam here is a full piece of Douglas fir beam material, one piece of wood, the whole thing. And that's what these are too, one piece of wood. See, here's some big beams here. This one here is a 6x12, I believe. These two, full one piece. And sometimes you can get that beam material in other things. And see right here, that says garage headers right there, garage headers. And we know there's 4 different garages. Here's 2 beams there, and then they must have 2 other ones, but this one says garage wall. And well, there's 2 other beams there. Those must be for the garage too. The headers material, 6x12s. And they even wrote on some of this stuff. Garage walls, house framing, interior walls. They normally don't really do that, because it's not something like you have to follow directions on and stuff. And see here, what do they have here? I'm thinking they might be using this. Yeah, see, this is 1/2" material, and it's just that OSB plywood. See how it's all mashed up with little shavings of wood, scrap wood, and then they make plywood out of it. See, there's no tongue, no groove on it, no nothing. And so that's the sheeting. What do you suppose that sheeting's for? Right, that's the sheeting for the walls. After they frame up all the walls, they're going to probably put this plywood on the entire exterior of the house. And that'll be, that's my guess. And that'll be the backing for their stucco, if they end up putting stucco, or if they do anything else on the side of the wall, if they put siding on it, if they put fake rock on it, if they put brick on it, whatever, they're probably going to have plywood. And we'll see if they do or not, right? And let's just take a look at this. I wanted to see if it was 15-30 seconds is what it is, and that's almost 1/2". And see, OSB, and they call that 1/2" board. And see, sometimes years ago you can only get that in 8-foot lengths, but as I see on this is either 9 or 10 feet long, and my guess is their walls on the exterior might be 10 foot tall, and then they might use this, or at least if it's taller or whatever, they're going to use this so they don't have to use as many sheets, is my guess. And most of the time I've seen them install that vertical, not horizontal. So we'll just have to see what's going on. Just stick with me on this, and you know, hopefully one of these days they're going to have the framing. They're going to start installing the framing. I know they're going to. You know, that's the next step. We've seen the walls are all laid out. They've already measured the walls. They've lined it out for the studs, for the headers, for the trimmers, for the king studs, for all that kind of different stuff. And that was all up there from before. If you didn't watch that video, you should. I'm putting all of these videos on there. How to build a house, okay? Go to my YouTube channel, my main page, click on playlists, scroll down to how to build a house, and I'm going to have everything on there. See, here's all the wall framing, or all the wall bottom plate and top plate. The first top plate, the double plate they'll install after the fact. They've got everything laid out exactly where it goes. So all the walls have been snapped on the floor. They're all ready, man. So once they get out here, it should only take them maybe a couple days, 2-3 days to frame all this, to stand up all the walls and get them braced and have it ready for the trusses. And that'll be the next step after that. They might put the plywood on the walls before they put the trusses on, if they're waiting for the trusses, but we'll just have to see how they do it. And you know, hopefully that'll be next time. So stick with me and find out. Oh, one last thing. Now that the excavator has all of the trenching dug for the electrical, you might be saying, hey Joe, what about the water? We know this is the water, and that pipe is connected over to there. I tried pulling that before, but no water came out of it, and so the water connection's probably not turned on over here. But eventually they're going to have to dig a trench from here all the way over to the water connection to the side of the house. Well, they can't do that, obviously, because all this wood is stacked here. They could have stacked this over here and then dug the line, but they'll just have to figure it out. They'll just have to figure it out later. I mean, I would have hoped that whoever was digging on the lines, would have been nice if they knew exactly where the sewer line was coming out, where the electrical lines were coming out, where the water lines were coming, and then they could have dug all that stuff. Then they could have ran all that stuff, got it connected, or got it inspected so that they could backfill and all that kind of stuff, and then just have the excavator out here one time for that, and then one time to cover it the next day or 2 days later, especially if you're going to rent something like that. You wouldn't want to leave it setting here for a week and a half, 2 weeks, or anything like that. And so there's just one thought I would have, but maybe the guy who's building this, it might be his own personal excavator, and that JLG forklift might be his, and that other thing might be his. You remember they had a big roller thing out here, and they used all that kind of stuff before to do all the grading and all that kind of stuff. So I have a feeling it's the main contractor. So he's probably okay with it, and he's like, hey, we'll dig this later. I'll just keep my excavator out here after they build all these walls and get all this wood out of here. No problem. I'll go ahead and do that after the fact. Okay, so just some thoughts for you when it comes time to make your trenches for your water, electrical, sewer, and as for your TV connections and stuff, there's probably a cat TV cable box over by the electrical box, and they might run, oh, you know what, that 1-inch electrical conduit, I'll bet you that's for their cable TV connection, the main lines that are going to come in, and then they'll have to bring that up, and I'll be curious to see how they're going to bring that up and how they're going to get it up into the wall, because I didn't see any pipe, or actually maybe there is a pipe. Maybe after all there is a pipe. See there's 2 pipes right there, and I'll bet you those go on down there, and one might be for the cable TV, one might be for another type of wire for that too. And so it looks like he's got those, but I'm not sure exactly where they come out there because we can't see anything just yet. But anyways, hey, I think they've got it figured out. All right, okay, talk to you later.